This is the PAP Show, and today we are shining the spotlight on the incredible contributions women make in politics. Let's face it, politics can be a tough game. By involving women in politics, we are not just filling a quota, we are bringing diverse perspectives, new ideas, and a fresh approach to leadership. They say what a man can do, a woman can do even better, yeah? I'm not trying to be biased here, but that is the absolute truth. But what does it cost these women to bring what they bring to the table? But before that, let's talk numbers. Globally, women make up only 27.2% of parliamentarians. According to the Interparliamentary Union, in Nigeria, women hold about 4.3% of seats in the National Assembly. These statistics highlight the challenges women face in politics. It is very unfortunate, I would say, from lack of representation to limited access to resources. But as the Hausaman says, Waga abaki mi ita tafadadi. We have a guest here today who is a trailblazing politician who has made several waves in Nigerian politics and also a daughter to a prominent Nigerian politician who has grown up with politics in her blood stream. We'll dive into her experiences, challenges, and insights on what it takes to succeed in politics as a woman. If you haven't guessed who we are talking about, you'll find out once we're back from this short break. Welcome back to the PAP Show. Remember to subscribe, share, and also follow our YouTube page at PAP Show NG. We'll be back to our guest for tonight. Well, if you guessed, we have Zainab Buba Galadima. That is, if you guessed that name right. Then you're right, just like I've said. Zainab is a former technical assistant on domestic and sexual violence in the Presidency, a legislative aide to former Senate President Ahmed, and has successfully run for office herself in the past. Zainab, we're delighted to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Zainab, we would like to start with your early life and, career now as a woman. Now, but then before we start talking about you as a woman and the challenges you face, let's talk about you being a daughter of a prominent politician, Buba Galadima, yeah? Did your family background influence your decision to enter politics?
Well, a little bit.
Okay.
I never wanted to go into politics, but I see my father every day. And when it comes to politics, sometimes I help out. So I was just in the background in the beginning. So after I came back to Nigeria, after my studies, there was this local government elections going on. And my father was just passing by and he just said, you always say you're an activist. Why don't we see what you can do? There's a local government elections coming up. What do you think? And it was just like a dare, and I was like, oh, okay. So I just went out and I went to the head office, the party office, that's the headquarters, and I collected a form to run for councillor. I didn't consult anybody. I didn't know what it was like.
That was what I wanted to ask, just like that?
Just like that. And that was my first crime in politics. Because apparently you have to register from the ward. Then after registering from the ward, then that is when you start making your consultations, and it's a process. So you have to go from the ward to the local government, then to, the state level, and then the federal level. So, every politician wants to be relevant. Every politician wants to be identified or feel important. So they felt like I was being arrogant, by going to the head office to collect a form. And, it was a bit difficult for me in the beginning to just penetrate and go in and start.
But didn't your father put you through as somebody that has experience?
He never did.
He just let you be?
Yeah, he just threw me out in the world, and I had to learn, the hard way by myself. So it was a bit difficult. But, whenever I come to him and I'm like, so this is what you guys face. He's like, just keep going, you'll find your way. And there was nothing.
So he just wanted you to be tough, right from the beginning?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So
how was that for you?
It was difficult, but, I'm a fast learner.
Okay.
So, and I read people. So after a few weeks, I turned out to be something else. because at some point you have to be a bit ruthless and relentless as well. So I was a bit. I learned first, and it was very interesting.
Why become ruthless? I thought maybe it's like
ruthless, not in a bad way. Like maybe in terms of your decisions, you have to be firm. You have to be able to know what you want. You know, naturally, some politicians prefer you to, kneel down and beg and just be maybe submissive to them, and it wasn't like that for me. I have a very strong personality, so it's not that easy to get me to do that. Yes.
Okay, we'll come to that, but then did your father's political connections help or hinder your own political career?
All. Yes,
okay, we'd love to hear.
Some people would support me because of him, because they feel like he is a voice. And they probably saw something in me that they see in him, and some because they do not like, maybe what he does, so they try to use that against me. And and some people just grew to like me naturally just for who I am. So it's a combination of all.
So did you learn any experience from that? What did it teach you?
It taught me to be tough, and it taught me a lot of things. It also helped me to understand people. Politics is a very funny space where you meet all characters. Your people expect you to please them. If, for example, now you get 10 missed calls and you miss one, that one person can be a problem for you. So things like that. There's so many ways that you have to learn how to manage people. So if you do not know how to do that, and if you're not patient, and you have to learn to be patient as well, because obviously there are some things that really is not your business, but they put you in it and you have to deal with it. So these are issues that you have to...
So, okay, I don't understand you missing a call, somebody's call, and then he becomes a problem. Like, what do you mean?
Like, for example, if you're running for office, people will call you in a day. A lot of people will call you, and everybody wants to show that they are important. You listen to them.
Okay.
And if, for example, you happen to miss by mistake, or maybe you're tired, you're not a robot, but they feel like, why should she not answer my call? After all, I am so person. She is arrogant, she's this, she's that, and that becomes a problem for you. Even maybe in meetings, you're like, oh, she doesn't even answer calls, so why should you even trust her with that? So it happens a lot. So I had to learn, to be able to manage that. Even if I miss your call, maybe sometimes I get to call you back. Every call is supposed to be important. Do you understand? I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
There are issues where it's not even about the call. Sometimes it's about dealing with their own issues, personal issues. So you have to be diplomatic. Even if you can't solve that problem, you have to be able to provide a solution that would at least get you off. So politics is a very, some people make it a space where they can make it. Even as followers, they will use that to extort you, or to get things from you, to get favors from you, even if you do not want to, and you have to, because that is how they made it to be.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the state of the nation. A video of you has been trending on social media where you were quoted to say, "I am just highly disappointed," in quote, referring to your party, the APC, and calling the Tinubu cabinet a waste. Okay, isn't it a bit harsh brandishing the cabinet of 40 plus ministers as a waste?
When I look at the way things are going, it is said that Nigeria is having financial issues. We keep borrowing, and yet we have so many ministers. They incur a lot of expenses, and there's nothing to show for. Anywhere you go, the ministers complain that there is no funding for them to do work. But then you're a minister, you have your convoy, you have your entitlements, but yet you cannot work. Why should they be in office if they cannot provide solutions? There's so many issues going on, and I don't think they're doing enough. Some of them are working, some of them are making an effort to, be visible, but it's not enough. If we do not get, I feel like there is no we don't have a monitoring
maybe committee or something.
Well, yeah, there is a monitoring committee, performance assessment, that kind of thing. If anybody is not performing, maybe we should look at it another way. Maybe we should say, okay, maybe we should reduce the number of ministers, or maybe we should look at the roles, maybe we should look at the people. You know, there are so many things that you can do to make people be productive and effective, but I'm not seeing that. And I'm not speaking just for myself, I'm speaking for most of Nigerians, because I received a lot of calls saying what you said is right, you know, but it's just coming from a place of love and concern, you know, love for my country. I would love to see this government succeed, but it's not giving me that. And I have to say it because I have the right as a Nigerian citizen. I have the right to, as an adult, to say what doesn't sit well with me. And I feel like people are just being overreactive. Why are you in APC and then yet you are, you know, you're saying all these things? But if I don't say it, who would, you know? I feel like if you're in a house and you have a child, you have to discipline that child. You cannot just let your child do whatever they want. So I feel like, and because that's your child, even if he's bad or good, he's still your child. You can't change it. So yeah, since I have found myself in APC, I have to, if I see anything wrong, for them to correct, I would say it.
So you still stand on your word?
Yeah, I still with my full chest.
Okay. So like, considering your disappointment with this administration so far, and you just made it clear again that yes, you stand on your word, would you vote for the president in 2027 if he contests?
I don't know.
You don't know.
A very, very, this is 2 years.
2 years,
He still has 2 years to change things around. Things are really bad. You know, you go out every day, you go to the market. Before, maybe you fill up your tank, maybe 9, 10,000, 12,000. Now you have to spend between 50 to 60,000 to fill up your tank. And if you earn like 300,000, you stay, maybe you in a month, you have to fill up your tank at least 3 times a month. You have to pay school fees, you have to pay your rent, you have to buy food. Before, I could just send somebody to the market to get me something, vegetables for 12,000. Now I have to send between 50 to 70,000. That is how bad it is. So I don't know how, as an APC member, how I would communicate that to the ordinary man and say, oh, look, we're still going to make your life better. Do you understand what I mean? I am a Nigerian citizen and I really want to have a reason to vote or to work for this party. But for now, I'm not too comfortable with the place I found myself. And truly, it's just the fact.
So if things continue this way, there is no way you're voting for Tinubu come 2027?
No, I will not. If things keep going bad, no, I can't do that. I can't.
Okay, you spoke about a storm coming against the president from the north. Are these not exaggerations? Because we see northern governors like Kaduna governor, Katsina state governor praise the president. Are these political leaders not custodians of their people and really influence their voting pattern?
You know, people in power are not really in touch with their people or the people. They're not really in touch. They have people who they appoint to be in touch for them and tell them what it is on ground. A lot of them are not in touch. I don't want to speak I'm just speaking for myself and what I see. For example, the time that some people, about 200 people were killed or burned down in Benue. Do you know there is a village in Zulu that over 200 people were killed by bandits, but it was never reported? So what do you go and tell those people? That they feel they're not being secured enough. Yes, security has improved along Kaduna, Abuja way, because now we don't hear of kidnappings. But there are other places that these things are springing up. And sometimes it's just communal clashes. Sometimes do you understand? It has gotten so bad that people have resorted to killing each other, which is very unfair. And the primary role of a government is to secure its citizens and their properties. And when your citizens feel like they're not being secured, what do you have to tell them? And then after the insecurity, they cannot go to farm. So that means there is no food. So that means life is harder. So that means crime rate will rise. There's so many multiplier effects to these things.
So all these praises that they are showering on the president, you think you just look at them as just praises of, should I say, it's what they're saying is not true, or they're just praising him because they are in the same party? Or
most people doing that, I think they're psychopaths. I believe that for you to truly want somebody to succeed, you have to tell them when they're making a mistake or when their policies are not enough to take people out of the trenches. That is the absolute fact. It is only in Nigeria that you say the truth and they insult you. It is only in Nigeria that you say the truth and people say, oh, because they haven't given you any position. I am a Nigerian. Even if I have a position and I don't feel things are going right, I should say my mind as a Nigerian. But obviously, I know when you're in office, there are limitations to how you can express yourself. But then you can try your best to make it better on your own way. Even me as a citizen, I try to do other things that I see that can help people, at least ease, what they're going through. But I'm no government. I am no, even Dangote just recently, just escaped by the whiskers. So you can't really, I know government is not enough. Even on our own side as citizens, there are roles that we have to play. There are things we have to do. We cannot depend on government to give us jobs because we have to create jobs for ourselves. And creating those jobs for ourselves now is not that easy to have businesses. It is not, the ease of doing business is not so easy. The taxes are high. The environment is not too friendly. So a lot of businesses are crashing. A lot of things are going on. And some people are not too, it's hard to be patient when you're hungry. It's really hard. So I don't know what they should.
But literally, you're part of this government, and you just mentioned some issues that are on ground. Do you get the chance to transmit these feelers to the powers that be?
No, their phones are off. How do you meet them? You meet them at events, and when they say hello to you, oh, come to my office. How can I go to your office when I do not have an appointment? Who will let me in?
So why don't you schedule the appointment?
No, you can't do that. To get the person to schedule the appointment is a problem. You can't do that. It's not that easy as people see. When you see us in pictures, it is just right there. It is not about, oh, I have access. I will just go in. Sometimes you can speak to them on the phone and they'll tell you, okay, come. But they will not tell their people, okay, this person is coming. People in office should understand that they're there to serve people. They are not masters over us. So we should have access, unfettered access to them and be able to tell them our minds. They do not have town hall meetings. They do not interact with the citizens. There is no, I don't think there's a correlation. There's no, it's not.
Does that happen to women only or everybody? Because we're trying to start asking questions about challenges that women face. Is this a challenge that concerns only women?
No, not just women. Everybody. A lot of people would, for example, APC people, you would think, okay, an APC person has worked, so they should have access to the government. Yes, it is our government, but it is their government. Do you understand what I mean? It is our government in terms of as a party, but it is their government because they are the ones running stuff and they are the ones in charge of everything. So it is hard for us to reach them. If you talk to them, sometimes they'll be like, pressure, but that is what you signed up for.
That will take us to challenges that women face in politics. I will start with what do you think is the most significant barrier to women's participation in politics? What is the most significant barrier?
Money? Yes. For example, if you're running for office as a woman, you have to have some amount of money to get you through. Even for logistics, for example. Now, for example, to run for House of Reps in Abuja, you need at least 500 million. Where are you going to get that from? Or if not, you have to get a godfather or a godmother. They're not much godmothers, but godfathers. And I do not subscribe to that. Because if somebody sponsors you into an office, or if you even sponsor yourself to an office, first of all, the first thing people do is to recover their money. They do not have time for anybody or anything or whatever took them there. It is to
recover that money.
Not everybody goes there and just performs, the roles that they were elected to do. Nobody does, and most people do not do that. So money is a big obstacle for women and for young people as well. And then another thing, culture. You know, there are societies that they will not be caught dead, you know, allowing a woman to lead them or to represent them. So this is another barrier.
But do we have that issue of culture here?
Yes, we do. We do. I know in Katsina, there's this particular lady that ran for House of Reps, and in mosque, they were preaching, do not vote for a woman. But sometimes a woman has more empathy. I think some women, like Honorable Khadija Bukar Abba Ibrahim, she does well in the community. It's hard to beat her in her constituency because of what she does. Senator Binani, she ran for governor too, and she did very well. Late Senator Mama Taraba, you know, these are women that have done well for people. And if we identify women like them, I know that many things will change. I know that there are women that have given us a bad name, but so have the men. You know, a lot of men have put us into this situation that we're in. But also, I know we're just Nigerians, you know, everybody has their own, you know, way of doing things, but women really find it difficult to scale through in politics. And then the women in places of power, they don't really mentor, they don't really hold each other or help each other up. You know, they see each other as competition. And this thing about women helping women, I'm starting to think that it's not even going to work.
Wow. Why?
Because, you know, you'll be just in maybe 5 of you are trying to do something, and then, you know, somebody will start feeling inferior and then start making problems. So I don't think this women thing is really going to work. So I've tried so many situations, and I don't think there are some women that genuinely they really want to be, but there are other ones that just like to make trouble.
You believe maybe they are more than the women that actually want to lift each other up. The ones that do not, the ones that want to see your downfall, you think are more than the ones that really want to lift you up?
I think so. But even if it's one bad thing, one toxic thing is enough to drown everything. So this is the situation we're in. First of all, let us just survive as Nigerians. You know, that is even the most important part. But then when you bring women issues, you know, we have issues. We do have, you know,
issues.
Yeah, we have
women
issues. Yeah. So sometimes it's just hard to, you know, just get along and just, you know, take it like it is. You know, we're not competition. We're there to complement each other and help each other. If they could only understand that, and together we're better.
So that is also another challenge that women are actually facing in politics.
Sarah Jibrin, there was a time she ran for president. She only got her own vote, just one vote. One. You know? Okay.
Now, talking about coalition now, that's like, should I say, the order of the day?
Yeah.
So, you know, what are like some of the biggest challenges that women face when participating in coalitions or opposition movements? Are there any challenges?
Yeah, there are challenges everywhere. But women naturally, you know, some men, they feel uncomfortable when there's a powerful woman in the room. They're not too comfortable. They feel like if a woman is given too much power, she will be, you know, they know themselves to be the heads of families, to be, you know, the ones in charge.
That ego.
Yes, that ego, it just affects them, and they really feel like, okay, this woman, let's just, you know, slow her down a little bit. We will go with her, but we can't let her be too powerful. So these are things that women face. You see, even in party structures, it's just woman leader or a national deputy woman leader, any other thing belongs to the men. Women are not really allowed and given those opportunities to shine. And that is really depressing. And that is why a lot of women do not want to get into politics. And then there's this harassment kind of thing. You know, it's not just about maybe the act or of abusing a woman that is just sexual harassment or abuse. There is a way you look at her. There's a way you talk to her. There are things that you could do there are things that men do that they do not even know it's sexual harassment, but it is. And they do not even understand that. And sometimes women feel like, okay, let me just keep quiet. People will not believe me. You know, so a lot of women bottle these things up. They don't like to speak out. But now, when you see women speaking out, then that means it has reached a point where she can't really take it anymore. So issues like that.
Okay, we'll come back to issue of sexual harassment. Now let's talk about godfatherism. You also mentioned it, as part of challenges that women face. So how do you think women in politics can overcome this obstacle of godfatherism, particularly when they don't have powerful connections or mentors?
That is a very tough one because even the men are finding it difficult with godfatherism. You'll see somebody has a godfather and then he sponsors him, he mentors him to a particular level in his life. And at some point, that person, they just have a fight. They fall out because maybe the godfather is too overbearing. Maybe the godfather is asking for too much returns, so many things. So even the men are still struggling with that. Talk more of a woman. If you do not have money or if you do not come from money, it's really difficult. So and Nigeria is so structured in a way that it is only money that can help you. There are very rare situations whereby people run and win offices without money. Or maybe people contribute to them. For example, when I was a councillor, people contributed money to me. It wasn't just my money. I didn't have money. My father did not give me 1 naira. People contributed money and gave me money and I won. So I wasn't answerable to anybody. I was just answerable to my service. I was just there to deliver. But even me, I faced obstacles because when I got there, I was the only opposition out of 12 councillors. So what possibly could I have done? In 3 years, we only sat 5 times. The first one was the first introduction, and the first time in the council chamber. Then 3 times was the sitting. I presented, I think, about 3-4 bills. It didn't go to the second or third reading because we didn't sit. And the last, 6 times. And the fourth one first one, yes, and then 3 sittings. The fourth one was one that one of our colleagues died. So we had to have a session for him, and then the last one was the farewell in 3 years.
Okay, I'll just have to pause you there because we have to go on a break, but you're still watching the PAP Show, and we'll be back after this very short break to continue from where we stopped. Do stay with us.
Take a seat on the Political Advantage platform for real conversations about Nigeria by Nigerians. Follow our live stream across these channels and learn how it all affects you. Every Sunday, you have a chance to stay ahead by staying engaged and informed. Tune in to the Political Advantage platform to share in real conversations that matter to you.
Welcome back to the PAP Show. Tonight we have Zainab Buba Galadima, who has been breaking it down for us about the challenges that women face and also her personal experience as a politician. And now, Zainab, talking about sexual harassment that you also mentioned, the case of Senator Natasha, Senator Akpabio has been ongoing for a while now, which maybe, even though we use the word alleged, sexual harassment, but then it means maybe there are some issues of sexual harassment that women are facing in politics. So what measures do you think can be taken to prevent this sexual harassment and assault in the political sphere to ensure a safe environment for women to engage in politics?
First of all, in Nigeria, people get away with a lot of things. There are no consequences for actions. Do you understand? If it was in the Western world, for example, somebody is being accused of sexual harassment and it has been proven, that person will have to resign their job. In most cases, that's what happens. But in Nigeria, because there are no consequences, we get away with so many things and there's nothing anybody can do about it. You can see she had to go to court, the court she had to get bail, so many things. I don't think it was a fair hearing. I don't think, everything seemed compromised. If you say she's lying, fine, she's lying. Okay, let her prove it. But if you're trying to subdue, trying to, put her down, anywhere she goes, she meets a roadblock, I think it's totally not fair. The fairest thing you could do in any situation is to allow everybody to prove themselves. But if they fail to, then a measure should be taken so that that person doesn't do it again. But if that person is found guilty with sexual harassment, then there should be consequences for that action. but we do not have consequences. The rule of law is not being obeyed in Nigeria. So we need to uphold the rule of law to be able to reduce this kind of things. But Nigerians are very law abiding.
You think?
Yeah. Oh yes. We're very. For example, seatbelt. The first time seatbelt was introduced, and they said if they catch you, you pay I think 1,500. But sometimes if they catch you, you pay up to like 5,000. As soon as you get into your car, you do not, even if 1,500 or 5,000 wasn't anything, the first thing you do is just to put on your seatbelt.
So do you call that law abiding, or because we're afraid we don't want to pay money?
Yeah, because that is the consequence. If you know that if you steal money, you're going to jail for 6 months and you're going to refund the money, you wouldn't touch it. If some people knew that some actions that they have taken and they get caught, they will be disgraced and be punished, they will not do it. So I think because the rule of law has been abused, the judiciary has been compromised. It's not every time that you go to a court and you get judgment. When you're right, when you're innocent, you don't really get. You see people now. The only judgment that is on the poor. They can catch somebody stealing a goat and they can give him 2 years in prison. And yet some bigwigs can feed Nigeria by stealing Nigeria's money, and they're going scot-free. EFCC will invite you and they will take some off you, and then you're still rich. Do you understand? Yeah. So there's so many loopholes. There's so many things that we need to do to fix things in this country. Strengthening these institutions, strengthening everything. The system needs a total overhaul, because number one, it's not even about the leaders. It's about the system. The system allows them to do whatever they want. There are no consequences, so they do anything they want without looking back on who they hurt or how it affects Nigerians or how it affects Nigeria as a whole.
Okay, so how can we encourage more women to run for office and take on leadership roles? How? It's a tough one, yeah?
It's a very tough one. Even if they say, oh, we allow 35% for women, how many women are in the National Assembly now? About 4.3? You said 4.3?
4.3, yeah.
4.3. How, that's not encouraging. Women are, even if they give you the form for free, which I know you pay some certain amount, you get the form for free. Nomination fees are not free, but it's not even about the form. The logistics, you have to go and do consulting, the logistics. I just said, a full tank is like 50,000. So if you're going for campaign, you need at least 3-4 cars, at least. Some people go with 20-50 cars, depending on how much they could afford. Do you understand what I mean? Even going around enough is enough for you. So, and now, a lot of people that really have something to offer are afraid to join because they do not have what it takes to win elections. Unless the people by themselves say, we want this person, then that means, maybe your expenses are cut by maybe half or maybe less. So these are things that, yes, we can promote, there's for a particular seat in every region, there should be women this, women that. I think we would, but it's not just every woman. I want women of value, women of, do you understand, women of capacity to be there, not just any woman, not just, when a woman represents us, let her know what she's doing, let her be able to, represent women and, do the right thing.
Do you think the women that are representing us now are not really doing it well?
Even if they are, it won't make any difference because they're few. There's very little you can do, And we've had cases where a lot of women were in situations where, are not very good, which is very bad. They're not giving us, because men are using it against us. Oh, yeah, when we give you an opportunity, you go and paint your house for 48 million. You go and do this, you go and do that. These are things they say to us, but they forget that they hold the biggest share of the blame because they are the people who have brought us here, where we are in this country.
So you mentioned some resources, and other things that women actually need. How do you think women in politics can actually access all these resources they need to succeed? Like the funding that you mentioned, the networking opportunities, the trainings. Do you think there is a way that women can access all these?
There are NGOs that that give trainings to women. There's Aisha Osori. I think when I was contesting for councillor, I went for training at her place. Linus Okore, he trains leaders for free. He does it as a business, but he picks young people, young minds, and mentors them. There are a lot of ways that, and if you don't get those things, you can go on the internet. Now the internet is, the world is digital. You can learn, on your own if you can't get those trainings. But the thing is, women and young people need support. And those people in the places of power do not want to give this opportunity. So if they do not give you this opportunity, create it for yourself. So that is what we're advocating now. Create it for yourself.
How do you think the current political landscape in Nigeria can be improved to increase women's participation and representation in politics? The whole political landscape.
If they want to, they can. They can involve more women. They can pick bright women. They can pick women that have of capacity, that are productive. They are there all over. Look at Zenith Bank. Look at there are women that are. Do you understand? It's just to pick them. And people think Nigeria is gone. Yes, at some point there is you feel disappointed, but there are really good Nigerians out there that really want Nigeria to work. And I have seen that. Over the past 1 week, people have written me, people have called me, that this is what has been bothering them. This is what they want to do. This is how can they join? But it's just, I didn't think my voice really mattered, but I felt encouraged to be able to say my mind and say, okay, this is how you fix things. Nobody wants President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to, fail, because if he fails, then it affects us all. So we have to put him on his toes to do the right thing. We have to make sure that everything that he's not doing right or he's not doing enough, they should fix it. So that it's not even about 2027 elections. It is about the welfare of Nigerians. It is about, our image. It is about the opportunities that we stand to gain. Nigeria is a very rich country. We have so many opportunities, but we're not using it. So I don't understand why things are the way they are. All we need is a good management, strategy to be able to manage all these things. And I think Nigeria will pick up. We have so much potentials, be it human, be it natural resources, everything. We have it. God has given us all, but we're not using it to the full capacity.
Okay, let's come back to talking about women challenges women face. Let me come back to your own personal experience now. How have you navigated all these challenges? I'm sure maybe you faced some of them along the line, while you're still a councillor and the other position that you held. So how did you navigate all these challenges in the politics, and what advice would you give to others?
My own is always different from other women.
Okay.
I did not face challenges because I was a woman. No. They didn't even look at my gender. They look at whose daughter I am. So mine is a bit different.
Oh.
Yes, mine is a bit different. And I need people to understand that I am Zainab. And he's my father. He's a different person. I'm a different person. I have my own mind. I have my own values. I have my own principles. Everybody is different. You cannot tell me that when I die and I stand before God, that I'll be judged for my father's actions or he will be judged for mine. So why should people judge me? So that is my only challenge. And I do not have any intentions of running for office in 2027 because I'm too broke to run. I've always said it. I cannot buy to be somebody in Nigeria. I will not do that. I do not have the money. I do not have that capacity. If I have 100 million now, for example, I would go into business. I would invest in my business.
Oh, you won't contest?
No, I wouldn't.
Million?
Why do I need to contest? No.
Well, I thought you said because you don't have the funding. I thought if you have the funding, you go all out.
I cannot waste that much money. And this is the least that I need to run for office. I cannot waste my money.
Why do you think it's a waste? Because you think you are not going to.
It is a gamble. It is a gamble, and it is not enough. But why do you have to buy your way into power? If you truly want to serve, let the people need you. I don't feel I should, pay people to vote for me. I don't believe in that. That is not my, my school of thought. I believe that if you want me, if you see anything in me, then you can, vote for me. But if not, I wouldn't do that.
So have you experienced any biases as well in your political career?
Yeah, here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot.
So how did you overcome them?
I have this thing. I just disconnect. I have a thing that I just disconnect. If something doesn't really, sit well with me, I just disconnect. There are other situations where I speak up. There are others that I just ignore because it's really not worth it. So we do get that a lot. But yeah, and you have to be strong. You have to be. You just have to. If you have a vision and you have something you look forward to, it's not every dog that barks at you that you turn back and no, you don't. You just forge ahead and do what you have to do and just get it out of the way. People, I was talking to my friend, I said, you say your mind on social media, you're controversial. She said, look, I don't care what people say. And truly, the moment I opened my mouth to talk, I realized that there's so much power in the voice. I realized that what they say is just what they say. That's their opinion. But what my conviction is what all that matters to me. So I'm comfortable with who I am and I'm comfortable with what I do.
Okay. We're coming towards the end of this show, but then before then, we've been talking about challenges and issues. Let's talk about a memorable, a moment or achievement in your political career. Let's just give hope, to a woman out there that's thinking, I really want to join politics, but hey, they have been talking about challenges here and there. What's there this moments that you hold so dear to your heart?
Frankly, the day I won elections, it was a feeling, you have this feeling when they're about to announce the winner. Honestly, I never want to go through that again. But then when they announced me, first of all, I went numb. I could not, and then I saw people, thousands of them, they were they almost lifted me up, but it was,
I think
young people, it was just, and then when I started, I felt okay, I have something to really offer. I can't let these people down. But then I was the only opposition. So very little I could do. And then another one is last week. Honestly, when Sean agreed to host me on his show, I really just thought it was just I never in my entire life, saw that coming. Because a lot of people, my other phone had to crash because of messages and stuff. I received a message this morning. There's this Oluwaseun that called me from England. We used to be activists together. And he said, I thought the spirit in you died. And that was, that really woke me up. And I was like, so maybe I'm doing the right thing. It's just that we just say the truth and just let things work out, the way it should be. That's all I want. It's not, there's nothing personal.
Okay, so what advice would you give a woman out there that is in politics or that wants to join politics? Let's wrap it up with that.
I want her to be strong, to be fearless, to have a vision, and to uphold her values. That is very important. Because if you do not have that, you would fall so easily. As fast as you came up, that is how fast you're going down. So these are the things that you need to hold dear. There are many more, but these ones I really hold dear. Your value is very important. You should stand for something, and then you should be known for something. Don't just follow, the crowd or anything. Be somebody that when they speak about you, they'll be like, oh, that one. When you go to her, this is what she will say. Let people understand, who you are and be fearless, because you cannot go into politics and be thinking, oh, I'm afraid. No, you can't do that. You have to be fearless.
Okay.
Yes.
To our wonderful viewers, this is where we draw the curtain, but I'll wrap up with this. Women in politics are not just participants. They are game changers. According to the Interparliamentary Union, countries with more women in parliament tend to have more progressive policies and better governance. So I will say, let's continue to support and empower women in politics. Thank you so much, Zainab Buba Galadima.
Thank you.
For your valuable contributions to this conversation, I would say. So we'd love to hear from you, our viewers. You can share your thoughts on social media using our hashtag PAP Show. The PAP is PAP in caps. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at PAP Show NJ for more insightful discussions like this one. Until next time, stay engaged, stay informed, and let's work together to build a more inclusive political landscape. I am Khadija Ahmed Rafai for the PAP Show.